boy. Hi, boy. Hi, boy.
Hey guys, hope you guys are having a great night. So much stuff to go over, man. So much stuff. So we have the Guthrie case, we have the the Mexico cartel war that's going on, and we have protests. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to go over today. So much stuff going on today. Let's get into it. Popping.
Desde muy temprana hora, en los municipios de Compostela, Jalisco, Tepic y Bahía de Banderas, en Puerto Vallarta.
So,
Aquí las quemazones y los incendios en Vallarta. 2:30 de la tarde, ¿eh? Ya están las cosas en Vallarta todavía.
1, 2 vehículos. El autobús de pasajeros que está en estos momentos incendiándose, no vemos ninguna autoridad que llegue hasta este lugar. No vemos a nadie. Estamos observando simple y sencillamente estos narcobloqueos que están sucediendo aquí. Este camión que cubre... Seguimos reportando nosotros esta situación en vivo y en directo de lo que está sucediendo. No vayan, por favor, a circular hacia Jalisco. No, por favor. Los propietarios de este establecimiento comercial se llama Tacos Birria, el Cheli, están retirándose también de urgencia. Ellos son testigos también de cómo los sujetos llegaron.
so if you don't understand what's going on, they're basically telling people not to go around there because they're...
La primera ocasión que se registra en esta zona de Tepic y en Jalisco, que ocurre, ya los elementos adscritos de la Policía Estatal adscritos a Jalisco, a la ciudad de Jalisco, se encuentran aquí en alerta tras posiblemente la detención de algún... Están escuchándose explosiones.
That's looking
Se están escuchando
crazy.
explosiones. Los elementos están en alerta, en total alerta. Esa toma panorámica, nada más. Son 2 vehículos. Junto a ese vehículo que estaba allá atrás, estaba una camioneta que también ya está en llamas. Estaba una camioneta propiedad de una empresa, está en llamas.
So they're saying that it's up in flames right now.
Diferentes puntos de conflicto que están siendo reportados. Y ahí le voy a hacer una toma a los bomberos.
That's crazy.
Ahí están trabajando. Aquel vehículo prácticamente ya pues destruido por el fuego. Este también. Ellos están tratando de dosificar, los bomberos, el agua, tratando de gastar lo menos que puedan en lo que les llega el apoyo, en lo que les llegan pipas, ya sea de su corporación o ya sea que los propietarios de empresas. Ese es el ataque hacia el fuego. De lo que ha estado sucediendo desde muy temprana hora en los municipios de Compostela, Jalisco, Tepic y Bahía de Banderas, en Puerto Vallarta, tras una detención importante que se realizó, tras de que presuntamente se detuvo Estoy recibiendo múltiples llamadas, sinceramente, discúlpeme, no voy a contestar ahorita la línea telefónica de la página, porque estamos transmitiendo en vivo. Y repito, vénganse con su pipa si la tienen cerca para que los abastezcan. Los bomberos, pues, ellos hacen su trabajo, pero sin embargo, buscan la manera de hacerlo lo mejor que pueden. El tanque
Fake.
Y ahí está el trabajo de nuestros bomberos. Dejo los sonidos de la noticia.
Craziness.
de este personaje, quizás, eso no, me estoy adelantando a algo, pero se trata de un personaje importante del cártel Jalisco Nueva Generación. Aquí sigo cerca.
That's a craziness. Crazy. And I saw that how it was like totally on fire. Like there's so many places burning because of what was going on in Mexico. And then I know they said that they were telling the Americans to leave because they could get kidnapped. So yeah, it's some craziness going on right now. I'm telling you, man, it's like the world's on fire.
Nada. A 2 cuadras de mi casa. El humo está densísimo. Mira. Estos son vehículos quemados, detonaciones. Puerto Vallarta es un lugar muy pequeño.
The payback for.
It just seems like financial money. Financial was the reason here. Financial.
I get hung
Maybe
up
they
on
realized
that
it was.
because-
It just got big, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
bigger than
I'm
it
sorry.
was.
No, that bothers me because if it was the guy, right, son-in-law, whatever, first thing he would have told the guy, listen, go cover the camera right off the jump. This guy did not know that camera was there. I saw the shock in his eyes.
Yeah.
So I can't. This is something bigger than what people can, I think, understand. But
Right, but I don't think it is Tommaso. I think it's hired by,
oh, okay.
you know, like, because he knew he couldn't do it because, like, that would be,
But
that
I'm
means
saying,
Annie
if
would
he
know he
did
left
that,
the
if he
house.
hired somebody, wouldn't he tell the guy go cover the camera right off the jump? No.
There is no perfect crime. We
Oh,
know
okay.
that. And we don't know who maybe he thought the person that he hired, maybe he thought this guy was perfect, right? And when he told them, look, there's cameras here, there's cameras there, they're like, we got this, don't worry, we're professionals, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't believe they're professionals, I can't beat this price, man, this is fantastic. And because guess what, they weren't. And that's why that camera wasn't covered. I don't know, I'm just...
So I wonder, that makes me wonder if the camera's new.
Cameras new?
That's what I'm wondering.
I just want to say something to that. I don't know this for a fact, but let's say the camera's new. Usually they kind of will sell it with like 30 days free, you know. So I don't know.
Oh, I
But,
see what
you
you're
know what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah. Subscription?
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
We just
I
got
don't
the
know for sure,
comment
but,
saying
you
that
know,
those dudes
like,
were
the
literally
offer it was something.
the
Right.
Grim
So-
Reapers. The Grim Reapers.
That's why I don't know for sure. But that's
Interesting.
too, like that they weren't expecting.
They weren't
that
expecting
is the
'cause it
first
wasn't
piece of
there on the first
information
try.
that
But when you
has
sign
been
it up,
released,
they
if
all-
that's
it's always with an
confirmed that he
offer,
was here
right,
in a
as you
while.
sign up,
But sometimes it's
I
not
know.
30 days, sometimes it's like 7 days.
right?
Laura Mint says,
A rumor that panned out to be true, right?
But by then your
Yeah, I
credit
mean, if
is already
all the
signed up
news
for
stations are
you
reporting
to
it, not
remember
just
to
ABC
cancel,
now,
right? That's how we always get caught
sounds
and
like
everything.
Right.
that could be. So the
and
suspect.
they're just running with it. I mean, all the networks are pretty much saying this story now, right? Two
Yeah.
times. We'll call it 2 times. 2 times. Laurie Mint says January 30th, Nancy was playing games at her house with friend Annie and others. Who? How old is Annie's son? Sheriff changed to family drove her home. And he did say that, right? Family.
What was that again? I missed that.
Initially. The sheriff initially said family brought Nancy home. He said multiple names. He said children. He said family. He said Annie. He said Tommaso. Back to family.
Why is that?
And I don't know
changed
in order, but he said multiple different.
now? Has that changed now?
I guess he left it the last time he gave a public press conference. He said, I'll just say family. I'll leave it at family.
I mean, last I knew was that it was both of them dropped her off after dinner, and they left her at the garage, and the garage door opened at like 9:50, and she walked herself into the garage, and it closed at like 9:52 or something. It was only open for a minute or two, and that's it. There are timestamps of that.
Yeah,
Money
that's
is the
what I-
root of evil. It is. Ruby, it is. What if it was a coworker of Savannah and they wanted a spot on the reporting of the Olympics? They knew she would go if her mother was missing. It's a little far-fetched. But what if, Amanda? I think it's something more simple here.
You can stay now? You stay now?
I think it's something more simple here.
Just got this new picture. The medication maybe just arrived.
I think they knew the camera wasn't recording. That's why they were so slow. I think they had inside information like, hey, Nancy said, I got Nest camera, but I don't have a subscription. Somebody knew, somebody passed that information on to somebody else that says, oh, yo, you could go to her house and you could disable the camera, there ain't going to be no recording. Someone within Nancy's circle possibly knew that the cameras did not save into the cloud. Therefore, you share that information. Yo, you go to her house. There's no camera footage that will save. Just rip the camera off and you're cool. You're not gonna be recorded. They're not gonna save it.
He's not gonna save it, yeah.
Because some people talk, and people talk. They might say, yeah, I got a security system, but I'm not paying for that stupid service. I get it for free, But what's the point of having cameras if they're not gonna save?
True. I think that's why I like the Google Nest cameras, because they continuously save and they'll continuously record. So if your Wi-Fi goes down, or if you have it with the battery and hardwired to your house, if the power goes out, it'll continue to record. Like once it reattaches to internet, it will automatically upload all the recording it did. Where Ring, when it goes down, sucks because, well, I don't know about the newer one, but the old school one, it would stop recording if the power goes out. It will stop recording if there's no internet attached to it. And so that's like a big difference, at least from my experience. I prefer Google Nest, but y'all give me your thoughts in the comment below of which camera system setup do you think is better, and did Ring update its system like the way it does for Google? So is it similar to Google now?
Misty Haynes, 8885.
Now tomorrow, Trump is going live, I believe, for the State of the Union, so we'll definitely be here for that whole speech, making our little comments on it here and there. I know a bunch of Democrats are going to be boycotting it, so we'll see how that works out.
Camera right. Can FBI look back at Google Live and zoom into Nancy's home to see if someone went in the back at the same time?
I want to say they could, because the night vision cameras on the Google Nest are really good, but I'm not 100% sure. So
how many actual cameras were around?
We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. How many cameras?
How many actual cameras? Nest cameras. How many actual cameras?
Also, John, remember they said there's no saved information. Then how did they get the picture from prior?
Well, my camera, I have an SD card, and I have a subscription, but what they do, it's like a teaser. They said you can access this, and it's already uploaded to their servers. So it's like, if you want to access this, this is what the features it has, and they'll show you a clip of what you could buy. So they're saving that information.
Right, but I'm saying they told us there was nothing saved.
They're not going to tell you the truth, though. They're not going to tell you that they have all this information.
Right, yeah.
But they're telling us there was nothing saved, and now all of a sudden we got another picture.
Then we got another picture.
So are we gonna, in 2 weeks, are we gonna find out that he was here twice before, and then 3 weeks later we're gonna find out he was here 3 times before? Like, just tell us all of that all at once.
All at once,
now.
Murky.
Yeah, it's confusing.
No subscription means you only get a message telling you somebody's on your video. Videos are saved into a cloud for so many days. Like, alert, your phone, somebody's there, whatever.
I believe you can have it saved for, well, at least the plan for Google Nest is 60 days.
Cloud, it's only in there for a few days. That's what Murky's saying. They do save it.
When the feds come,
They do,
They were able to get
depending on the plan you have.
Exactly. They were able to get it. All right. So, is there any final parting words? Anyone want to miss something? Say anything? Mark the Shark. Anyone want to say anything?
Do we know if it was a ring or a nest? And also, do each ring or nest provide the same services if you're not subscribed? Like the how many days they'll go back as their free service? Like,
It depends on the brand you have. I think Ring is like 30 days, Nest is 60.
Good point. Good point.
As a selling point. Like, hey, buy ours, and with your free service, you get 3 days prior, and then the other one's like, ours is only 24 hours, huh?
Why did the sheriff say in one of his first interviews, we were the only ones there that night when the call wasn't made to 911 until Sunday morning? We talk about that. We talked about that Wing and Prayer 777, and we think of misspoke, right? I think it's just a misspeak. He's not.
So, there's so much pressure on him. It's not, he's just probably tired. Talking about the night of the kidnapping, and,
Look at the picture again. Did anyone notice a mole over the right eye of the masked guy? Looks like a mole or birthmark. Mole over the right eye of the masked guy. Mole. A mole. Did he have a mole? Right eye.
It looked like heavy eyelashes or mole.
I don't know the picture.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can see it on the right.
Gang initiating crime, Irene Barlow says. 4144.
I haven't heard that one.
Which one?
Gang initiation.
So that's when we were talking about the Bitcoin stuff yesterday, and I was talking about how this could be a generational thing. Yeah, that could be a good theory too, because again, like Bitcoin, I think is a younger thing. Cash is king. I feel like we're kind of all from the same generation here, and for us, like I feel we're like the mattress kind of money, freezer money. When we get cash, we're gonna hide it, we're gonna store it. We're not gonna ask for Bitcoin because we know that that stuff is gonna be tracked forever. And not only that, they're only getting smarter on that. And if they collect, let's say, $10 million, they can't just sit on that for 10 years and then in 10 years they can use it and go and live the beautiful life they want. They can't. But if they got $10 million in cash and sit on that for 10 years, guess what? They can go and live the beautiful life that they want. Because cash, we can find ways to launder it, we can do this and that. Cash is king. You know, we got to think back to like dirty mafia days, all that. And that's where I think, you know, if this was really like the real cartel and all that, that's what they would be asking for, not
Cash,
Bitcoin.
not Bitcoin, yeah,
You know,
you're
they
right.
would be asking for cash and something that is not traceable. Nobody will, you know, find out. Not something that is backed by technology.
Yeah,
I think that is the dumbest thing ever. Like, that, no matter what, yeah, you can lock it up and all this, but that's being now tracked by the government, and they're only getting smarter with it. I think it's the dumbest thing ever, which shows me is younger generation and how they just said could be a gang initiation. Could be. So when, let's say this was a hired hit, they were like, hey, guess what? This guy, he's up for initiation. I think he's good for the job, you know?
Yeah, see, that was my thought is like if it was a higher hit, then
The answer is the easiest one.
maybe something would be
Mr. Haynes, I
happening.
think
Like
you already
maybe
know
they
not to
betrayed
get me
them. I don't
started on
know.
the sheriff.
So it's kind of crazy.
Misty Haynes,
for that
over and
situation.
over. You don't like that sheriff very much, Misty Haynes. Misty Haynes is a regular
Nope.
in this chat, and she says over and over, the sheriff, the sheriff, the sheriff, the sheriff, the sheriff. And Misty Haynes, a lot of people feel the same way.
I think they're overwhelmed. They don't have a handbook for this. You know, they have a handbook on what to do in a missing persons case, but when it gets to a certain point, they gotta know what to do in a missing persons case that's 84 years old and all this extra, and they don't know. That it's not happened for them to have some sort of, you know, repetition or look back on or all that. They just don't know.
We got a comment from Tiana Jordan. Interesting take here. Tiana Jordan says, I think it was a young family member, maybe a grandchild, and that's why the family isn't saying anything.
Well, yeah, some people are
Laundry
thinking it's
syndrome,
the
cover and
family.
protect.
Other people are thinking that it possibly could be
You know, a lot of people like that comment.
somebody trying to
A lot of
silence
people like that
them
comment.
because the
Interesting.
daughter, who is a reporter, has dirt.
Well, it's been
in
real,
regards to
guys.
Epstein.
I'm going to finish up because we're running out of time on the stream. We're at 11 hours, 47 minutes. We go a little bit before 12
Hey, Javier,
hours.
how's it going?
I
How's
actually
it
wanted to
going?
show you again.
I'm
how dark it is.
good.
Anything else? You guys good?
Nope.
Thank you.
I had like a busy weekend when my kiddos got
For
sick,
sure.
so
Pleasure
it's one of
meeting
those
you.
things where
For
it's like
sure. All right, so
trying not to get everybody in the
Take a walk.
house sick.
look how dark it is out here. Outside.
But yeah,
James
catching up
Tomaso's
on
home.
everything that's
A lot of
going
people
on.
firing off.
I so
comments.
wanted to go
Connie
live
says, Mel,
yesterday,
have good
but you
travel.
know,
Safe travels,
had
Mel.
to do mom thing.
Yeah, thank you. JLR, please
Seems
look at
slow
your
today.
email. It shows photo of IMAGE you showed earlier from FBI.
Seen on camera or not. I'm not seeing a face, but I'm going to switch back to me because, again, there's nobody out there at the moment. And I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
hide
so
my
much stuff
face.
going
Here
on
it
right now.
is.
Like that's why I was
If I put on my
listening to
mask,
JLR
my face
in
is hidden because my
regards
mask is
to what's
tinted.
going on with the
However,
Guthrie case, and so now there's more information
that has more
coming
to do
out
with the
about it,
fact
but
that I'm
still
an
can't
albino.
find her.
If
And then
couldn't
we have the
tell
thing that
from
happened
the-
in Mexico, which is still ongoing,
I'm an
which
albino.
is crazy. And then we, of course, the Portland issue.
In daytime,
The
first of all, the tint isn't all that much
So,
even at night.
yeah, we're kinda
especially with those
everywhere.
bright ass lights on.
I saw
But
the
in daylight,
stuff that
if I put on my
Shannon
mask,
Baum was saying.
I can't wear
she's so
sunglasses
stupid.
with it. So
I see why, like, all the young
the mask
people protested
is
against
sunglasses.
her.
And I can wear them at night just fine. If I put on my
Then I know
shades
they were having a debate about the Guthrie case in
and
regards
drop
to
crap
the
out
type
my
of cameras.
pockets.
I can only speak from experience because I had both the
Floor!
Ring cams and the Google Nest.
Okay,
I
who
started
saw
with the
that? I
Ring
mean,
cams,
when I
but
reached
they
for something.
didn't work like well. Like you have to have certain data speed because
Knock the
they
whole
get super
damn stream
pixelated.
over.
And then when the power would go out or the internet goes out, it stops recording. But with Google Nest, you have a much
Okay.
clearer picture for night vision. It picks up all kinds of stuff. If it stops recording,
Drop
like
the
let's say your
sunglasses
internet
too
goes
while I was at
down,
it.
your power goes out, it'll continue to record, and then once it reconnects, it'll upload all that information
You
there,
get
and it's
back
good
in
for
there.
about
There we
60
go.
days.
Yeah.
So they were kind of debating on how long and where
You know
did the
what? I
footage
can
go
still
because
see you. I
apparently
might
they
have a
couldn't
little
find any
trouble reading
footage,
the
but
stream,
depending on the
chat,
camera setup and what
because
she pays for,
it's very
she
small,
may have
and
it
I haven't turned the
available.
brightness up, but I can still see me. I can still see across
It's
the
crazy.
street. I can see. Yeah. So that's why my mask has a tint. Not only do I not hide my face, my name is Joseph Carter. That's Charlie Alpha Romeo Tango Echo Romeo for the ice holes watching the stream.
Okay.
I have asthma. I am insulin dependent diabetic. And I have stage 4 melanoma. I take chemotherapy for that. So, basically, I don't go and cause trouble over there at the front line. That would be really unwise of me to do. So I don't do it. But, I had to get a respirator and everything because 3 weeks ago now, I was standing right over there across the street where we're laughing and they pointed guns at us last Monday. But we were over there. I was right by the corner
a lot.
because
A
I
lot.
heard
Yeah, I'm trying to play
that
catch up
people
right now.
were doing stuff that
I'm trying to see what I can
might result in a tear gas
talk about today,
grenade or
but there's
so
so much going
launched
on.
at
I'm like unsure
crowd.
where to start, so I kind of just
So I was
talk
prepared to
different
move
things on the scene
quickly.
so that we can at least get
Not
a
quickly
basis
enough
recap
because they dropped like 8
about
at
it.
once, along with flashbangs. Which flashbangs
definitely
are designed
tomorrow
to
I
freeze you
will
in place,
be going live, and I'll be
disoriented
on
and
here
unable
for
to react.
such a long time
And
tomorrow.
tear gas is designed to get you to move your ass if you don't want your airway
because
shut
I'll
down.
be live
So we're
streaming
trying to
the
disorient
State of the
and freeze
Union.
you in place so you can't
So
move.
I'm
At
hoping
the same
it goes
time, we're
good
trying to do
because
stuff that if you don't move,
a lot of the
your
judges are
airway gets
boycotting
shut
it,
down.
so it might go by pretty fast. But
How do they
who
justify
knows?
that as less lethal force?
Hopefully no
'Cause
delays.
that sounds like it's plenty lethal to
Then
me.
I know over the weekend too there was the shooting. Well, not the shooting, but
So what I
attempted, I
said
guess,
was, in the
assassination of
time
Trump,
that it took me
where
to walk,
Secret Service stopped the person.
well,
so I
kind
was
of
like,
stumble
oh,
really,
again.
2 blocks
Like
that way,
so much stuff.
because my cane, not the one that's laying down over here, but
But at least I
a
got
smaller
to
one,
see
like
Arturo,
this,
and I was watching like all these
back up.
different people that you guys recommended.
folded
To
up
try and
like
keep
this
up with
and in my
everything that's
pocket,
going
and
on.
I was
while
unzipped,
trying
so I'm like
to,
ducking
do laundry
under
stuff.
like this, eyes
So much
closed
stuff
because I
going
can't
on.
really see, and I don't want any more of that smoke in my face, and trying to breathe as well as I can.
And I think you also have Gavin
choking
Newsom. They're
because, I
bringing
mean,
him,
I'm
or
trying to
I guess
snort
they're trying
spicy
to
4th of July.
help him with a scandal
Um,
that he has now in regards to
2 blocks that way.
him
Somebody
trying
grabbed
to
me,
be
took me 1 more
relatable
block that way,
to
and
black
then
people.
3 blocks straight behind me.
Talking
Straight
about
behind me, yeah.
how he
Down
can't
the river.
read either.
So
and it's like,
6 blocks total.
bro.
Where
Not all
somebody
black
took a
people are
squirt bottle
illiterate,
and
man.
sprayed
Yep, that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just
my face off
winging
with
it as always.
just cold water.
But it's going to be
Then
pretty
another
good.
one,
Pretty good.
saline, to try and like help my eyes recover. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
this
I
whole
watch
time I'm
his
just
stuff
coughing
too.
and choking and hacking up
I have him on
all
my
kinds
list.
of
Sometimes
grossness out
he
of my
does
lungs.
what like all these other people do, where they're
Several
just driving
people were
around. So I'm just
puking.
like,
I mean, it was
okay,
not
there's
pretty
nothing.
tight.
I'll wait to see if something pops up. But definitely, I follow
And
him as
that
well.
got me enough that I could, make it home in one piece. It took me 4 days to recover. But in the time it took me to
Because it looks like
get out there and
everybody's
get help,
starting to,
I could
I
have,
guess,
if I'd had a
wind down.
respirator on, I
So it's
could
like
have
a
grabbed
slow
two
Monday.
people. You on my right, take my elbow. You on my left,
We'll
take my
see.
shoulder.
It's still early.
I've got my cane. That's why it's a shoulder, not an elbow. I can move through smoke, full speed. We're moving. If I tell you step up, step down, do
I know
that.
Portland Andy was
Otherwise,
doing
keep
Mail
your eyes
Monday.
closed. We are moving. And I mean, I'm not even gonna
Oh, nice.
take the time to explain all of that. But it's like you take the elbow, you take the shoulder. We're moving, and I will avoid step up, step down until I get a chance to tell people to do that. But we're doing that. I could have done it 3 times.
It looks
could
like
have
he's
done it
going to
3
be going
times that
live
day.
soon.
What they did on the 31st, and then again on the 1st, even worse, was unconscionable. And that was just crowd control munitions.
Right now,
They had
he's
1,000
not
people.
officially live just yet.
Most of whom were not in the streets. They were on the sidewalks. And somebody said they counted, just in the span of about an hour
that's
on 2
cool.
days, 41 tear gas and 18 flashbang grenades.
It looks like he's going live at 8:45.
And the fact is, they dropped a whole lot more than that. And in fact,
drop him on our street.
Saturday
Quick.
night and Sunday,
See what he
they
has.
didn't drop tear gas. They dropped hexachloroethane. That's nerve gas.
Guy's just whining. It's also hard because, like, I don't speak very well Spanish. I think I speak more like English. So trying to translate some of the stuff they're saying in Spanish is really hard for me. I'm like, I don't know that word. But I believe, like, isn't, from what I remember, from what my parents told me, the cops were also cartel. So is it like cartel versus cartel? Like, are these two different cartels fighting each other? Like, I don't know. Oh, nice. Tony and Pegger were in his chat too. That's cool. Yeah, he should be going live at 8:45. So we'll see who's running up in there. Just waiting. Few minutes to kill. Trying to see what else is up. Maybe I could throw something else on. Maybe some Benny Johnson. Of course, my dogs would go crazy. Be right back. It was false alarm. I thought my dogs were going crazy. Pranked me. Like, just kidding. We're not doing nothing. We just wanted to see if you were paying attention. So we have this from Benny Johnson. Panic Mexican senator exposes president on live TV for being cartel member.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. An absolutely insane update out of Mexico. Now it looks like they are setting the border on fire with the United States of America, effectively closing the U.S. border with Mexico. This is amazing. Okay, where can I politically support the cartels? If they are the ones who can finally close the border with Mexico, all right, now we're talking. Whatever. I'm making a joke here. This is terrible. They've set a bunch of cars on fire. They're setting cars on fire all throughout Mexico in order to try and shut down.
That was crazy. I was watching that.
States, traffic,
I saw them
commerce,
like burn up
and
like a gas station. I was like, holy crap.
Or to get
it's
out
like
of the country and get
insane what they're
into
doing.
America, where they don't have, well, yet operational control. And this is something that is horrifying. It's affecting the border states for sure. And many people are very nervous about this cartel war stretching into the United States of America. This is obviously a chief concern. It's a concern because, well, Mexico has been a cartel state, is a cartel state, is not a real place. And President Sheinbaum, who just had like massive protests outside of the presidential palace and the government buildings in Mexico City, where hundreds of thousands of people protested her cartel rule of the narco state. Trump's been on this, baby. Trump announced a U.S. land strikes on drug cartels in Mexico will happen soon.
They were doing that too. I was watching all that unfold. I was just like thinking, like, it's so crazy because it's something like you would see out of television.
America. Trump previously warned Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum to get her act together in the aftermath of the capture of Maduro. Something remarkable just happened on Fox News, where Claudia Sheinbaum was just exposed, and it's insane. Cartel violence is being allowed in Mexico because Sheinbaum works for the cartels. Senator from Mexico went on Fox News and exposed it all. The president of Mexico works for the cartels. She was funded by money from the cartels. Not just the president, there's an entire group of Mexican politicians labeled narco politicians. Mexico is a narco state. Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels. And her entire party affiliation is financed by the cartels. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, doesn't want this information getting out. Yikes. Once they get elected, the deal is for the Mexican government to protect the cartels.
Isn't that why
Mexicans
they killed
the politicians
the other person that was running?
Paid off by the cartels don't want Donald Trump to help. Mexican senators exposing all of this after being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened me to proceed against me in criminal prosecution. This is wild.
Yeah, that was the one thing I remember telling people on these lives or even my videos that
Mexican elites
when I was told that if I ever visited Mexico to let them know ahead of time, like my uncles or whatever, so they can bring me, and they told me not to bring a super nice car or certain car types because I'll get hijacked, like literally carjacked by these people
effectively
because they're all cartel members. And so especially because I'm a girl, they're like, you don't want to get trafficked either.
Senator Lily
So yeah, but this is
coming
new.
on Fox Noticias
Like,
with me a few days
definitely
ago
seen them set everything
Listen.
on fire.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority
And then
of
I also saw
Mexicans
that they were
feel.
going into people's
the only
houses
ones who
as
don't
well.
like that President
It's
Trump is
crazy.
sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican Senator Lily Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yep.
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between.
I remember, and it goes way back
Mexican
when, because my
government
grandparents
and
used
the
to tell me
cartels
about it,
that
and my
have
great grandparents
infested our nation.
about how
Can you
bad
explain
the
this
cartels
alliance
were.
between the president, her party,
And
the
it's just
Morena
getting
party,
more and more
and the
emboldened.
cartels?
as time has
Yes, the
progressed,
party
because
has
there was no like
finance, has
leashes on
given,
any of these
the
members. They were
cartels
just
have
basically allowed to
given
do whatever they
so
want.
much
So
money
it's not surprised that
to
they
these
got their hands in
politicians,
government.
narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect. The Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must. I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
Okay, so that's the setup. Lily Tejas then it goes hard in on Scheinbaum, explaining exactly how corrupt the entire system is. Check this out.
Mexico is a very dangerous place.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you are speaking very bluntly, very clearly about Mexico being a narco state and the alliance and the connections to the president of Mexico. Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail, just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels. The cartels are dominating everything here in Mexico. They are in all the offices of the government, in the states, in the cities, and in the national government. So, of course, I am afraid, but I want people to know I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
This rings true. This rings true because Claudia Scheinbaum, like this clip is now going viral across my.
It's crazy because like Claudia Scheinbaum is basically defending the narco terrorists, and then you also have this situation like because she's a socialist, it's just not going to go anywhere.
I wanted to drive through the backside.
We already know what socialism is like, and then you always have these people that want to argue that socialism is good, and they'll like point to Germany and Sweden, Norway, Finland, but none of those are socialist countries, not real socialist countries, because they're market capitalists, and they've actually said that. But we already know that this is where Mexico is going. This is where the route that, both New York and Chicago are going. And so I'm not surprised that Scheinbaum, because you could tell she's a cartel operative. Like, she's not trying to get any help from the U.S. or anybody else. So we'll see how that goes. My thought process is like, we have this going on with Mexico, which was a crazy, bomb drop. Like, why is it now flooding the media? Like, what are they trying to hide that's going on, somewhere else? Because, that's the only reason why we are all focused on this one. So I always try and see like what else is going on, because we still have that situation with Iran going on. So it's like, is there something happening there that we don't know about or that's about to happen? And so they want us to focus on Mexico. Like, I don't know. You guys let me know your thoughts about that. But we have Dad's gone live. So he's over here. And he's talking about the coverage, I guess, of the Nancy Guthrie case. See what he has to say.
Oh, I'm just scared. Thank you so much. Snacks for us backseaters. Let's go. God bless you and your family. We appreciate that. That's huge. Thank you. So, yeah, we've always kind of had a feeling that it was on 2 different days and stuff, but now we've had like a confirmation from a source. And, I don't know. Oh yeah, this right here was where we can't go in at. So I'm gonna have to go up and make a U-turn. Let me get a Starlink connected real quick. We're gonna buffer as we connect to Starlink. I just want to go through this other street right here and just see what it's like going to and from Nancy's house real quick. I'm gonna connect to Starlink right now and buffer.
Buffering.
Thank you so much for becoming a member, Mary. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so I look like, when I was looking at the map, there's a Christian academy accepting tax credits now. That's weird. Accepting tax credits? I have no idea what that means. Like Christian school accepting tax credits. So this is the other way that they could have came in or out. And I don't really think they would have gone this way for the simple fact that there's a school right there, and schools are known for having cameras. If I'm doing something illegal, which I don't do illegal stuff, but if I was doing something sketchy, I would not be going around cameras. You got to think like a criminal, you know? And thinking like a criminal, I don't think
definitely don't want to get caught up. But I think nowadays it's hard because, like I said, there's cameras everywhere, which is why I was surprised that they couldn't find Nancy Guthrie so much quicker, because of all the cameras that we have literally surrounding us.
How long am I staying?
24/7.
I just paid the hotel through Thursday. So last night I didn't know if I'd paid through Wednesday or Thursday, but I just paid one more night. Checkout time is right around 11 on Thursday. 11 on Thursday. So as of right now, I'm here until Thursday, which has been mostly paid for by viewers. So thank you guys that kicked down hotel money. So that's what I want to know. That's a more direct, like a faster. I don't think they would have went that road. I really don't. I think they would have went the other road that we.
So he probably has that traveling Starlink.
Checked out last night, where it has 1 or 2
crazy.
turns. But
it looks like it buffers a lot.
Would have taken.
I was thinking of getting that, but wasn't sure. I would have to kind of see how that works. So
No, this is not a replay.
I get to watch this guy do it.
This is not a
Gives me a
replay.
good idea of whether or not it works.
It's currently
good.
7:52, Monday, February 23rd. Current temperature is 71 degrees, according to my cell phone. And yeah, this is not a replay. I don't push out replays, guys.
It's not a replay.
So for those of you guys who are just jumping in, my name's Jacob Davidson. I'm a live streamer out of Bakersfield, California. I came out here to Arizona to throw my hand at trying to cover this Nancy Guthrie case overnight. I noticed there's not many people covering it overnight. And I wanted to come out here and see firsthand myself and share with you guys what I see, what may or may not be going on, talk to you guys about this case, and hopefully watch a resolution come out in the near future.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest, I'm really sad. The more this case goes on, the more I see media doing less and less articles on it. The more I see less and less people here overnight. During the day there's people out here, but there's quite a few YouTubers out here right now, and I'm very grateful that they're out here. I'm glad that the YouTubers aren't giving up on this case. I'm glad for everyone's coverage. Ikmel, JLR, Watching the World 777, Traveling with Tay, Mark the Shark, the Criminal Minds guy. He's cool dude. Forget the other guys' names, but I don't know them all very well. I met a lot of them the other day. They were very nice, and I respect that they're out here. That they're out here during the day covering things. They were also going around, walking around, and doing like hosting search parties and stuff. And I think that's amazing. God bless them. Thank them. I want to thank them for what they're doing. I do appreciate that. So, oh, exploring with Jim. He was a nice fella too. He's a good guy. And I think everybody out here that's covering the story wants the exact same result.
There's so many political ads that are going to start popping up now to get ready for the midterms. So we'll be probably playing some of those stupid ads and
we want her family to have
critique them as best as we could.
Closure.
I'm pretty sure there are going to be lots of fact checks that we have to do on those because most of them are probably going to be lies.
My mom, she's in her 60s.
Especially if it's coming from the lab.
She's just a loving.
Because we know how they love to Pinocchio everything.
So we are.
I also saw the new arrest that was made over alleged Epstein ties. So you have the former British ambassador to the U.S. arrested, which is crazy. It's a second arrest.
I'm hearing rumors of people.
I wonder if the dominoes are going to start following now with more arrests going forward. So we'll see how that goes.
Homicide detectives were called out. And I'm assuming they would have done that because the amount of blood or something that they saw. Maybe they saw an indicator inside the home that showed that a struggle bad enough to unalive somebody may have taken place. I don't really know. I don't really know.
Like 857 Tuscan, they're just listening to, I guess, scanners, like police scanners. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
I hope I didn't pull out for
I like doing that on my downtime. I sometimes like to listen to different police scanners because
that was you
I
and I
think
pulled
it's
out in front of you.
funny listening to some of them.
I really thought you were going into a driveway.
Some of the talk speak that they have, especially when we were having, when I lived in a different state. When I lived down in Texas, when all this stuff was happening with the George Floyd thing in like Illinois, I would listen to the scanners or watch the lives on Facebook, and then I would like push it out to my family and friends, telling them like, "Hey, y'all, be careful! Don't drive over here. This is what's going on." And I would just be rolling, hearing the cops talk about all this, like all this nonsense.
It's all right.
Some of these cops are like savage.
Pull up here. I'm gonna park up here in the back.
1965.
Dude, I really cannot see your car, bro.
Cheaper parts and having places are created in the process of automation.
Oh, it's gotta be one. It's definitely one of the new.
It's like entered.
Tonight, I want to do a couple different things. Besides have a car shine their lights in my face. Read comments. Whoa, we had a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. When exploring with Jim from yesterday, started at 509. The guy flags down Jim from the road. When he hears the name, puts his hands in his pockets, looks uneasy. The V stance and build look familiar to the perp. Take a look. Interesting.
Negative.
Well, I appreciate that positive vibes. Creepy shadow people are talking about. Creepy shadow.
I go with something else right now.
Yeah, that car took the parking spot I was in parking, so I guess I'm gonna have to no, I can park right here, look. Actually, I thought they parked in my parking spot.
Okay.
Creepy shadow, creepy shadow. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go see.
Like me. This doesn't want to. We're gonna mute him. Going to team. Here. He wants to play nice today.
Like that Ian said, to create an enemy that we could then say, oh no, now we have no choice.
It was the first day I ever thought of that in regards to the cartel. But yeah,
I mean, I think it's because they're running illicit activities for intelligence organizations.
Yeah, I thought it was they were just trying to track the guns and find who the higher ups were in the org. But now I'm starting to think like, geez, they create the enemy now if they can go conquer.
S.A. Federale says every low-T neckbeard who properly pronounces every foreign word has been steadily screaming, but my Mexican food, it's glorious. Yayo hasn't been good since 09 anyway. Woo!
Wow, hit him where it hurts.
What he was talking
Mexican
about.
food's best at Taco Bell.
Here we go. Here we go. Trump threatens. Let's pull this up. All right, everybody. We got the story from the AP following the Supreme Court's decision that Trump cannot enact emergency tariffs under this one particular law. Donald Trump has come out and said he's going to increase tariffs anyway, citing 3 other laws from the 70s. He's now warning countries to abide by tariff deals despite the Supreme Court decision. Any country that wants to play games with the Supreme Court decision, Trump posted, will be met with a much higher tariff and worse than that which they just recently agreed to. He said Saturday that he wants a global tariff of 15% up from 10%. He announced immediately after the ruling.
I was reading that.
The court struck down tariffs Trump had imposed on nearly every country using an emergency powers law. But the Republican president won't let go of his favorite, albeit now more limited, tool for rewriting the rules of global commerce and applying international pressure. So I am of the opinion that the tariffs are quite possibly the best thing for the United States. I am a huge, huge fan.
I agree.
And I believe that anybody who is truly interested in the betterment of the United States would support this. And anybody who either wants to extract value from the system to its decay would oppose it. The people that I view that are there's 2 groups of people that I believe are in opposition to the tariffs. Those that want to extract the value from this country to its demise, and those who don't understand what is going on in this country.
I suppose I'd be in the latter camp then, because
you don't understand what's going on in the country.
If I have to pick one of those two, I think comparative advantage is a thing. I think trade is good. The best argument that I've heard in terms of the Trump tariffs is that there are situations where we need to use leverage to compel other countries to quit doing bad things. And it would be better to use tariffs than to do military intervention.
Completely disagree with tariffs as a means of military.
Oh, no, like as a way of avoiding military stuff, right? This is the best argument I've heard, is that like China is doing, they've got a predatory IP system. Other countries have tariffs. We could use punitive tariffs to try to lower it. So if you're using tariffs as a temporary leverage to try to get a policy goal, that makes sense to me. The idea that we have a kind of zero-sum fixed amount of wealth, and that if we are buying things from other countries, they're extracting wealth, I don't think that that's sound.
Is your argument graph go up?
My argument graph? What do you mean?
Graph
Is your
go
argument,
up, graph go down.
Graph go up?
Yeah.
So the typical libertarian argument is described by a lot of people as graph go up, and liberals have adopted this recently as well. It means that on the macro, we can see a general economic improvement in the short term, so it's worth doing.
I would say my argument is that comparative advantage is real, and that.
So I have a company that manufactures products. How do I compete with Chinese slaves?
If we've actually got a supply line that's got slavery in it, I'd be fine with abolishing that.
It's all of it, 100%.
All things that we get from Chinese slave labor?
Like, is 25 cents an hour not slave labor because they choose to work for that much?
No. There's a difference between
How
having
do my employees, my manufacturing employees, compete with a guy who makes 25 cents an hour?
They got to find a way to compete.
So when my industry dies because we are spending 10 times as much to ship lumber
Sometimes
to China
it annoys me
to
when he
manufacture
has,
with
like,
slave labor, peasant labor,
middle of the
and send it back
road.
to the United
Well, not
States.
middle of the road,
How is
more
that
so
good
like
for us,
lefties
our
on here,
country, and our
because
children?
So two
their
things.
arguments
I
are
want to go ahead and hit
stupid.
the slave labor thing, right? If there's actual involuntary servitude going on, that's immoral.
I'm being hyperbolic. I'm talking about people who would otherwise work for better wages with health care, but instead are getting paid 50 cents an hour to do this work.
If we're removing actual slavery from the equation, right?
Peasant labor.
peasant labor, right?
Peasant
The one
labor.
thing they can compete on, lower wages. We end up being able to import things cheaper. It makes everybody better off in the long run.
That's completely incorrect.
And
You're just flat out wrong.
When you look at like American manufacturing, we've got intermediate parts that come in from other countries. So if like you want to have cars in America, you need to be able to get parts from other countries.
Why?
Because if you raise the prices on that, you raise the price on the consumer, and everything costs more.
And if everything costs, so are you familiar with the old apocryphal legend of Henry Ford and the Ford factory?
Yes, I'm familiar with the apocryphal. Yeah, where he had to pay people enough.
He argued that if I pay a higher rate, then the employees actually buy the cars from me on a loan, and then they're paying me back the money I'm paying them, and then earning a percentage off the excess cars we produce.
I hadn't heard the loan bit, but I do think it's apocryphal.
Well, it's their financing it. They can't afford to buy the car outright, but they're paid enough to where they can say, okay, I can save up for this, and then a portion of they're buying the product back from the guy where they're making it at a premium.
But like you're familiar with comparative advantage, right? Like you know the basic premise behind that. May I enlighten people that might be unfamiliar with it? So like let's say I'm Scotland and you're France. I, as Scotland, am very good at making sheep. I'm not very good at making wine. Like Scottish wine would like presumably be very sweet. You'd probably
Where are
fry
you going
it.
with this,
It
bro?
wouldn't be particularly good. Meanwhile,
well, that could be great.
It could be. You know what? Actually, I got to go. Like we're going to call it Scottish prison wine. I would try it. Scottish prison, but they're probably not going to produce very much of it because it's not very
funny
good for making
because I
grapes,
actually
right? But they're very
found
good
a
at making
property
sheep.
that I was
Meanwhile,
looking at,
France,
and it
really
had
good at
a
making
vineyard
grapes,
attached to it, where
large
you
amount of
could
grapes,
like, and it's
very
not a
bad
big
at making
vineyard.
sheep
We're talking about
comparatively, right? They probably have some sheep.
maybe
If the Scots go, well,
half
we
an
want to
acre
protect our nascent
of,
wine
like,
industry, so we're going to
grapes.
put
But they
tariffs
said it
on
was
the
like
French
wine
wine
grape.
industry.
I was like,
then
how would
France
I
is going to
make
respond by putting
wine?
tariffs on wool coming in
I
from
like started
Scotland.
researching
The
that
result is you're
because
going to get more wine
I'm
in
crazy and I
Scotland,
like to
but you're
research
going to
all
get
kinds
less wine overall in the equation. You're going to get more
And it's just
sheep
like,
in
more
France,
stuff
but you're
added
going to
to
have
my
less sheep
plate
overall.
for me
Everybody
to
gets
do.
less wine and less sheep.
Now, you said that the Scottish wine was just no good, right?
It's we could just
We're not
focus on like
gonna talk
quantity.
about
They're not going to be able to produce as much of it. So you're going to use both countries in a less productive manner.
Is it better for the people of Scotland and the generational wine
rambling
farmers to
about
have their industry
wine.
destroyed because you, as a consumer, want to save $3 on your wine? Or is it fair to say
I know,
that
but
the
Texas
bustling
got really
wine
good wine.
industry in Scotland,
I ain't
which is
gonna lie.
storied and has legacy,
I
deserves a
tried
chance to
it
survive
once when I was
for
out
its
in
community
Texas.
for its
It's
culture?
called Texas
They should absolutely
South
be able
how
to
do they
compete
Wind
for that.
Vineyard.
Well, like you
Best
might want to get
wine
Scottish
hands
wine,
down.
but if it's
At
something
least
that they
I
can't
think.
produce,
And
that
I'm
people
not a
want,
wine
France
connoisseur,
has got
so
Chinese
I
peasants
could be
working
wrong,
25
but
cents
to
an hour
me,
producing
that's like
garbage
one of the
wine that
best
Scotland can't
wines.
compete against.
Mm-hmm.
The wine is actually no good.
And now what's going to happen is the Scots are going to put more of that effort into sheep, and they're going to produce more sheep. They're going to
This is just not correct.
shift
based
their
on what we've
economics
actually
towards something
seen in
that's
the
more
United States.
productive.
So I'll give you an example that I often give to most people, which is it's personal. Skateboarding is dead. It's an Olympic sport, but it's completely dead. We sold something like 500 boards in a month. Shocking. Industry experts asking me, Tim, how did you sell 500 skateboards? And I said, I went on my show and said, go to boonieshq.com and buy the skateboards. The pros are now working for Uber Eats. They are doing delivery driving for Amazon. They no longer have the time or ability, for the most part, to be professionals in their own sport. There's videos popping up of some of the best professional skateboarders who, Olympic contenders, who now work for Home Depot, making minimum wage. You know why? Because the factories that produce skateboards, instead of employing Americans and marketing a product to Americans, offshored all the manufacturing to China, where we cut down wood in Canada, import it to the United States, send it to China. Chinese peasants make the boards for pennies on the dollar, send back cheap Chinese crap, and now there's no factories, no employees, and no pro skateboarders. If you go to Japan and China, they have skateboarding up the wazoo. Every new pro is some 15-year-old Japanese kid, and the
I wonder
country
if
that
anything's gonna
invented
pop
the
off
Olympic
on
global
the actual
phenomenon has
anniversary
lost
of our
control of
country.
it because we
That's
gave it
gonna be
away.
some
Because we told people
craziness
in this
that
country,
day.
which would you rather buy? The $50 American-made skateboard or the $30 Chinese-made skateboard? And to be honest, when the people walked into the shop to buy a board, they didn't know the difference. And they said, $30 sounds good to me if it works. Well, guess what happened? Every American worker who grew up, whose dad owned a wood shop, lost their job, and now they don't skate anymore. Their kids, the Gen Z, and this is across the board. Skateboarding's personal for me. I know people probably don't care about it, but it's the perfect example of how we are willing to spend 10 times as much on the energy to send our raw materials to China so peasants can do it and Americans lose their jobs. And then when no American has the job, what company is going to promote and market the new product to kids? It doesn't exist anymore. It's in China.
Yeah, this every time people talk about China and like when stuff gets manufactured, the only thing I can always think of is what is that called? I think it's Armageddon, where the guy's like Russian components, American components, Chinese components, all made in Taiwan. That's always my thought when it comes to that, because I think it's like so factually true,
Oh, you want my
like you get it everywhere, like, and it sucks because if you look at any products that you do have, if you read the back of the labels, it always says it's like out of our country, and it's like, man, if we went into like a big World War III kind of deal, right? We don't make a lot of our products, like even like medication. That's why Trump was trying to bring everything back, because we don't make stuff like antibiotics. It's like if something happens, it's like, how are we gonna help ourselves if we don't make the product? It's crazy.
Let's look at the video again. Okay.
When you see if anybody else goes live, like nothing's going on in Portland. I was looking at the Portland Ice facility with Have Another Taco, apparently. He has the old school paperclip, which is hilarious. But nothing's going on over there. Portland, nobody's out, which is interesting that for a Monday, nobody's out. And then we're still kind of watching the Guthrie case and seeing what's going on in Mexico, which is another craziness.
She's so annoying. Yeah, she was the first hostage released by the Hamas because, and with her daughter, that was a rough one. Because she walked up to the house, it was like this no mezuzah.
I think there's like a travel ban going on for Mexico, I believe.
The rabbi blesses, so if you're Jewish, you put it on the side of your house, like your door. And for some people who are really religious, this is before every door in the house. But I have one like in the apartment.
Hey, where were you guys at earlier?
So she goes to walk up to this house. It's an Airbnb. Put it on the side of your house, like your door.
Computer?
And for some people,
computer is you.
A progress report for the White House. Break down the history of it all.
Really interesting history that I dug into today. So
I thought CNN was going to talk about
the political fight,
the travel ban.
Efforts to keep the special counsel's findings
before that search with internal documents
would be temporarily suspended at
brand new video just in here at the live desk showing
Blizzard.
Mounting now plus.
Really nothing going on. It's like it was saying like, oh, we're going to talk about travel ban, but no, there is no travel ban. Like what's going on here, man?
There's a famous photo of a man in a suit in 1960s, I believe it was, riding a little fish board, one of the OG skateboards in Central Park. It's a great mystery to figure out who this man is, and no one really knows.
You're dead, going wild at the bottom.
That became iconic, where it's like a guy in a suit and he's like cruising, was because a company that made skateboards announced they were having an event in Central Park and encouraged everyone to come. They told families, they told kids, they went and promoted it in New York City, and then everyone showed up. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people showed up, and skateboarding started to get more and more popular in the United States. The factories and
yeah, Tim, skateboarding.
Lights. Those headlights are blue. They're not quite as blue as they are in the. Well, they kind of are actually.
So this is the guy at the Portland facility. Nothing's popping off there.
I don't know if you can see that that's a 35, but it is.
I don't know, but your camera was getting jacked up,
but
bro.
Those headlights literally are as blue as they look. I seriously thought that there was like a cop out there.
I could get another angle because I was looking on X to see if anybody's going live. But I didn't see anybody live on X that we normally follow to watch.
They look like they're headlights.
They tend to go out there and on TikTok. It's like a slow Monday.
God fucking damn it. What the fuck is going on?
Anyway, so these free operating systems, you can download them, you can install them to your computer, you can even install them alongside Windows or Mac.
Yo, I got here a little social media stunt coming out.
Uh-oh.
That Percy's guy in the Inflation Government chat, yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like,
open it, stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this!
Well, you think you got fuckers out there? Well, look at these dumbasses. He's gonna start a conversation with you over these codes. Oh, yeah, I know. Through social media. He's gonna make videos like you.
Looks like nothing's going on.
Not you, but like.
So anyway,
So we're talking about social media blackout.
the thing is, because this is all free software, you can get different versions of Linux. They're all the same stuff. We all run basically the same software. There's some specifics that are different. Like
heard of Linux.
There's a thing called systemd, and some people don't like it, and so they run something that doesn't have it. But it's kind of the standard, so most people run it. And you just, if you want to try it, you can download something that you boot. You write it to USB using something like Rufus or.
Rufus.
Rufus is the easiest way
the
on Windows.
13th apostle, according to Dogma.
The Raspberry Pi imager also works. So you write this thing to a USB stick, and then you boot it off of that. It's a little slow to start up because it's booting off of USB. But then you can try it out, and you'll find, hey, depending on what version you get, specific version, it probably feels very natural, very similar to other operating systems you've used. It runs a lot of the same software. It's going to have a web browser, either a Firefox browser or some Chrome-like browser, something based on Chromium.
Like normally,
and you can run it, try it. There's possibly some games. There's an Office suite.
Guys.
There's all the stuff you'd expect. And if you install it on your computer, you can run Steam.
Going on
if you want more games.
Mexico, you would think it would be like way better than what it currently is right now.
I use both Signal and Session messengers now. There's apps for that. There's a Discord app for it, although we need an alternative to Discord, man.
Like, we can make it. We can make it. It's like, imagine. Yeah, people just say that and just start making like all kinds of shenanigans. So this is Crowder.
Foreign terrorist organizations. Why?
He's talking about
because
the cartel
they control
situation in Mexico.
Governments, right? They're effectively transnational actors, and they can destabilize entire countries, regions, in some cases halves of continents, and use fear, right, as a terrorist organization would. We saw this on full display yesterday. So first, let's set the stage. Monroe Doctrine, you know this, the Trump administration was very clear that the national security approach, the Western Hemisphere is ours. And thank God. Picture any other country in the Western Hemisphere and tell me you want them at the tiller of the ship. He wrote, the United States will reassert and reinforce the Monroe Doctrine to restore American preeminence in the Western Hemisphere, to protect our homeland and access to key geographies throughout the region. So this is something that is well known. The left, of course, has complained about it. Yeah. And that means that anything President Trump does must be bad. So designating foreign drug cartels as terrorist organizations, they also believe it's bad. We saw them do it with Venezuela. Now, Mexico. The president there, Claudia Sheinbaum, has repeatedly rejected, she kind of did, but she doesn't really mean it, our intervention.
It is necessary to reaffirm that in Mexico, the people are in charge and that we are a free, independent, and sovereign country.
Yeah, not the cartels.
Cooperation, yes. Subordination and intervention, no. He has insisted on several occasions that the United States military be able to enter Mexico. And we have said no very firmly. First, because we defend our sovereignty. And second, because it is not necessary.
Defendemos nuestra soberanía. Y segundo, porque no es necesario.
Yeah, the people are in
Totally,
charge.
totally.
People are in charge. So, you know,
I've seen.
Why would you care if a few drug cartels get taken out? Well, this weekend it turned into a war zone because of just that.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, coming at you here live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Just had the military driving past me, and as I understand it, I should not be around anywhere where the police or the military are, because they are the target right now.
That's crazy.
I can see the flames underneath that black smoke. Major flames there.
Vente más. Corre, 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 corre.
That's just people having a domestic dispute.
Yeah.
No, don't take it out on the $5 rotisserie chickens.
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing.
It's people having a dispute because the people are in charge of their government.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let me tell you exactly what happened. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel, for future, I'll just say CJNG, their leader, El Mencho, was killed by some Mexican security forces. There wasn't any involvement of the United States outside of shared intel, from what we understand, but also there were numbers that came out that there were some American guardsmen, right?
No, sorry. These are the National Guard of Mexico.
Oh, National Guard of Mexico.
25 were killed during the
25 Mexican.
the internal dispute.
And there were conflicting reports coming out, so we're still kind of parsing through it, but intel was shared. That's how we helped. Keep in mind, this is the main competitor to Sinaloa Cartel.
Yeah.
That's El Chapo, for those of you who don't necessarily follow, if you're not in on the brackets of the drug cartels. And so what is happening is the cartels are now trying to what? Use terrorism. They're trying to retain power over and discourage the government from acting. The people of Mexico are not in charge of their own destiny. It has been for a long time, and you know this, and all of those who are in the know have known this. The drug cartel says jump, and the government says how high. It just depends on which drug cartel has the most power at that point. That's why they have been designated foreign terrorist organizations. By the way, El Mencho's henchmen did not go down, I will give them credit where it's due, without a fight.
The heck?
I always forget how
That
terrible
just
that motion picture
reminds
was.
me
Terrible.
of,
So,
I don't know if you guys ever watched it,
this
but
is
I'm
just
going
a
to
problem
get you,
for Mexico.
sucker. That was
Just like if
hilarious.
Canada is communist, it's not
The
just a
guy
problem
went
for
and put
Canada.
on
If Canada
all
has a
these
force
weapons
border, it's not
and
just a problem for Canada, it's a
kind
problem
of
for the
proved
United
them
States.
up.
These
It was
cartels
funny.
are a major threat to the United States. I'm not going to have the libertarian debate about the war on drugs. We live in reality right now, and drug cartels exist, and they do bad things. And if you legalized all drugs tomorrow, they would still exist. They would just do something else. Let me direct you to some facts. Check the references. Here's key fact number one. The CJNG, other cartels, are not just responsible for drugs, so about $100 billion a year. For example, 1 million pills, 77,000 kilograms of drugs were seized by the DEA. But there's also human trafficking, $13 billion a year. Now remember, there were 300,000 children lost under Biden. We don't have the exact numbers to know which ones were directly the result of these cartels. But here's the thing. If you just legalized all drugs, that $13 billion a year in human trafficking would go up. These people aren't drug dealers. These people are criminals and terrorists who happen to make money off of drugs. The idea that they are going to straighten up and fly right if you simply permit their behavior, like they're going to submit an IRS form, is ridiculous. Keep in mind, when you look at, you have a contrast. Former administration, right? Biden, drugs, including fentanyl, skyrocketed. The use, the importation therein, under President Trump, just this second term, fentanyl deaths are down almost 20%. You look at the border, which of course directly involves Mexico. 12 to 20 million completely unvetted illegals. I get it. Some of those are visa overstays. It's hard to get the exact number. Let's round it. Let's give it an even round 15 million. You have gangs taking over entire apartment complexes. Compare that to President Trump. Border crossings down by 95%. Cartel arrests are numbering around 7,000 at this point in time. Key fact number 2. There's a reason that these people are considered terrorists. Okay? You saw what they did in Mexico, but they've also been doing this here. So in 2025, a Mexican national was charged with terrorism in Texas for providing material to support the CJNG cartel. Grenades, weapons, cash. Was arrested in Mexico, extradited to the United States. For some reason, though, even with all of this being said, the left, the same left who says that waving the flag at the Olympics and chanting USA turns them off, you know what else turns them off? Designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. This comes from New York Times, Cato. You guys will have all the references. Brennan Center for Justice wrote, "The dangerous sweep of Trump's plan to designate cartels as terrorist organizations." I'm sure, but you know what I think is more, more dangerous? Drug cartels.
Wait, I don't know. I mean, labels are kind of worse.
Labels, man. Cato wrote, Trump administration shouldn't designate drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. What? I'm sure they have some bullshit pseudo-libertarian, really a liberal in disguise reason for it, but you know what?
It's because drug cartels are scary.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We don't want to misidentify them.
New York Times wrote, how labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy.
What?
I mean, I guess we'd lose $100 billion in drugs per year if that's how you want to. That's how you want to frame it. At what point do we say these people are just anti-American across the board? They hate, they revile the United States of America. The left is not a part of American society. It is no longer, the Democrat Party is no longer a political party. They don't like the flag. They don't like borders. They don't like us being tough on drug cartels. What do we do? Balkanization almost seems okay to me at this point. I think we may be long overdue for a divorce. Wait, if you say, well, why? Aren't we all Americans? Yeah, but you don't like the flag. If I say, America, your stomach turns. If I say, hey, can't we sort of try down on drug cartels? You go, no, that's not right. That'd be bad for America. And if I say why, you say, what do you, what? How do we find common ground at this point? And of course, these same people bitched about President Trump bombing narco-terrorist drug boats.
Yep. The Pentagon's announced the U.S. blew up another boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 4 people, claiming the boat was carrying drugs, but once again offering no proof.
You probably saw news that last week the Trump administration took this airstrike on a boat off the coast of Venezuela. First of all, we have sort of no information on who was on that boat or who was killed. It might be, as the Trump administration says, members of a drug cartel.
Well, that's some information, isn't it?
Civilians. We don't know. His stated reason for taking the strikes to try to stop the flow of drugs in the United States, it makes no sense as the centerpiece of a counter-narcotics
guarantee you those drugs didn't make it.
In many ways, it's bringing the logic of Gaza into the Caribbean in terms of unaccountability.
That man's body generates no pigment.
And an expansive notion of national defense to justify.
Saw him and thought about sex.
What is in effect just extrajudicial killing.
It is about separation of powers. For the folks who wave their Constitution around, read the damn thing.
Okay,
I have. Who waves the Constitution around?
I have. What are you trying to say, that the Constitution says that we can't designate any foreign terrorist organizations to be terrorist organizations? Whenever the left says the Constitution, you know they're lying to you. Just to be clear, whenever someone on the left says, actually, I'm a Christian, but you know they're lying to you. And when we're talking about sinking these boats, like terrorists or no terrorists, it's sink or swim time for Mexico. And if you like me, fam, you know I can't swim. So let's go to tourism.
Yeah, nailed it. They love you.
Just got some new votes.
Yeah.
The traders in Canada, our greatest friends, Canada. Ah, yeah, they're our greatest friends. So we designate a group, foreign terrorist organizations. They take over entire cities in Mexico and show exactly what we told you to be true, that they control governments and that is a threat to the United States. So what does Canada do? Our greatest friend? They encourage their people to go to Mexico. Tourism from Canadians to Mexico up 12%, down 28% going to the United States because Canadians believe that it's safer than the United States for them to be in Mexico.
Hope you're enjoying it. Your extended stay.
Yeah.
Here's a post from Jay Hunter on X wrote, last week I had a trip booked to the U.S. Canceled that and went to Mexico. If you're looking for a vacation, I suggest Mexico. The love for Canadians is real down there. And your kidneys. Better food, better people. Better country.
Papa John's.
And they don't.
Papa Juan.
And they don't have an elderly orange rapist felon as a president. Okay. Okay. So the drug cartels in Mexico are better than President Trump, and they're better specifically for Canadians. All right. And the Mexican tourism minister said that Canadians going to Mexico instead said, I think they are choosing more friendly policies. You know what else? This happened when I was growing up. Canada did this with Cuba. You could actually argue that the people of Cuba, because there are consequences, right? Canadians going, we're going to stick it to the United States. I can't believe they beat us at hockey, even though winning doesn't matter, right? It just matters how you live. But we're going to Mexico. They did the same thing with Cuba. The people of Mexico will be under the thumb of the drug cartels as long as Canada does this. That's why countries boycott. Countries, just to be clear. That's why countries have embargoes. That's why countries have sanctions. Cuba, Canadians have almost single-handedly kept the Castros and their never-ending lineage in power afloat with their tourism dollars when the United States said we're no longer allowing our people to go to Cuba. Do you think the people... Let me ask you this. Canadians go, we're going to Cuba. I can get some rum there duty-free. Whatever the hell it is. Why do you think when Cubans get to America, well over 80% of them vote Republican and conservative? Do you think they're happy to see Canadians go there and every dime they spend goes directly to the fascist, autocratic communist regime? What I'm trying to say is just sticking it to America because you have a jealousy complex, it's not annoying. It kills people. It kills people. I know because I was one of them. I had to go to Cuba. I was one of few Americans who went to both Guantanamo Bay.
So he's going like on a crazy rant. So I'm going to go ahead and look at something else at this point because, like I said, it's a pretty lackluster day.
And heating elements that I can plug in to wires that I can run through my sleeves to a battery pack is what I'm really after. That sounds very nerdy, but...
It does. So I heard that during this guy's like when he was doing his, I guess, answering his questions in front of Congress or the Senate, you can hear the guy next to him, which is, I guess, his attorney or something, literally say that he was going to kill him. I was like, oh my God, what? That's crazy. Like, it was caught on a hot mic. That's crazy.
We became friends.
I'm surprised he didn't get in trouble for that either. Like,
from very different backgrounds.
Like, I should have gone to jail because that's a straight up threat, man.
You know, working in the White House. And we became very close friends. And his wife reminded me after his funeral that we would talk every Sunday. And it's like, I know you might have friends or acquaintances you talk to regularly. I didn't even realize that we did that. We'd share books, talk about what was going on in the world. And it was just, very much a part of my life.
I was trying to see if he was going to say it on there, but that one was a crazy situation for the dude to go in like this and like tell him like, hey, shut up. If you answer any more questions like this, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, bro. Like, that was crazy harsh. Like, who does that? Like, you're supposed to be an attorney or something.
How many batteries? If you've got exactly what I'm talking about, how many batteries does it take? Because if it's 3 or 4, that could be USB real quick. I'm reacting to everybody out here smoking cigarettes under the part of the building that has an overhang.
Well, guys, I'm going to be calling it a night because there's nothing going on. Like, literally everything's dead. There's no people out protesting. The news kind of died today. So I guess today's the new Friday where news goes to die. Because nothing's happening. Like, it's crazy. Like, I would think something would have popped off because it's Monday. But, you know, I think once it gets warmer, we'll probably have way more content to go over. We don't really have much to go over right now. And tomorrow I will be going live again, but I'll be doing it for the State of the Union. So we'll be here for that whole speech, making our comments on all the stuff that Trump is saying, all the stuff that the libs are saying. So we're going to be here for all of that. And since we are heading into the midterms, you'll be seeing me way more often with other things that are going to be happening, like the debates and, you know, the nonsense with the ads that these people are going to be posting up left or right, where we can just kind of talk about it and see where it's stupid or where it's factual and where it's non-factual. So yeah, we're going to get into all of that, guys. But, you know, I'm going to let you guys go. Hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe. Don't forget, we're going to go live again tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Time's up, my little heathens. Harley's gotta cause more trouble.